Oh, hi boys and girls, Mr. Y back with another episode of PE with Mr. Y. It's great to see everybody safe and healthy. In this week's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to throw and catch a Frisbee. What a great activity when the weather starts getting nice. What better activity to get outside and, of course, have a catch with a Frisbee. Now, you might not have a Frisbee at home like me. If you do, you are more than welcome to use it for this activity. But I'm going to show you a simple way on how to make a homemade Frisbee that can work either inside or out. I got this idea because one of my most favorite pieces of equipment is something that I use called a gripper Frisbee. It's really soft, great to throw, but it's great because if it bumps you, it will not hurt you. Again, this Frisbee is almost the same as a gripper Frisbee. Nice and soft, great to catch. So let's get started and join Mr. Y today as we learn how to throw a Frisbee. But before that, we're going to learn how to make that Frisbee. Okay, boys and girls, we are now ready to make our Frisbee. Okay, to do this, you need 4 items. You need, number 1, a paper plate. The size is really up to you. If you have a smaller paper plate, that is fine. This is a great size. If you do not have a paper plate, maybe if you have a piece of cardboard that you can cut a circle out of, cardboard might not fly as well, but it would work. You might need to use your creativity. Like I said, your Frisbee does not necessarily have to be exactly like mine. So I'm using a paper plate. You also need some paper towels, a roll of paper towels. You need some, number 3, you need some tape. You can use duct tape. You can use clear plastic tape. Scotch tape may work. Masking tape, electrical tape, or maybe your kids are like mine and they have some of this really cool, colorful designer duct tape that I'm going to use for our Frisbee. And the last item we need is some colored markers that we can use to color in our Frisbee or design our Frisbee when we have it completed. Looks cool flying through the air when it's kind of full of colors. So let's get started. Okay, boys and girls, now we're warmed up, we've made our Frisbee, now we're ready for the next step, which is how do we hold a Frisbee? Well, we're gonna use our favorite hand. When you hold the Frisbee, remember we want the hollow end down, and I drew a nice little spiral on here to remind me of the top side of the Frisbee. When you hold it, you're going to take your thumb goes on top like this. Your pointing finger goes to the side like this, and then these three fingers get tucked underneath. So this is how you hold it. So when you hold and you throw your Frisbee, it looks just like this. Now to throw a Frisbee, once you have the right hold to throw a Frisbee, you're going to step with the same foot, a little different, because usually when we throw an object or we roll, we always teach you to step with the opposite foot. When you throw a Frisbee, you actually step with the same foot. You point towards your target. You curl to your belly, and then you release, and you end pointing at your target. This is my pointing finger, so that's kind of what I aim with. So it's going to look like this. Step, curl, point, release. And you've thrown your Frisbee. Boys and girls, now that we have made our Frisbee, we've learned how to hold our Frisbee, we've practiced some types of throws and catches with our Frisbees, now we're ready to challenge ourselves. I call this game Frisbee Mania. And what you will need for Frisbee Mania is you will need some targets. Okay, now I brought a couple belts that I had, old belts. I had a recycle bin, I have a cardboard box, just some different targets that you can be aiming for as you're tossing your Frisbee. You can point value those. For example, you know, the belts could be 1 point, maybe the cardboard box, big target, 2 points, and maybe the recycle bin, 3 points. You also need a throwing line. I'm using a belt for my throwing line. You don't have to use a belt. You can use chalk if you're outside. If you're inside, you know, a towel, anything that you can mark a throwing line. How the game works is simple. You stand behind the throwing line, you're going to get a toss, and you can challenge yourself for time. I'm gonna go for about a minute to see how many points I can score. I've got a clock timer over here. You can also use a phone timer. Maybe somebody in your family has an iPhone where they can time you on the side. So we're gonna go for how many points? So I'm gonna use 1 point for belts, 2 points in the box, and 3 points in the blue recycle bin. Are we ready? All right, let's give it a try. Seconds. 3, 2, 1, begin. And stop. All right, so my record was 9 points. Can't wait to try this again. Hope you have fun with Frisbee Mania. Thank you again for joining Mr. Y with PE with Mr. Y. Bye-bye, boys and girls.